If I'm honest, this is probably the most powerful thing that you can do. And I say this because this is something which I've done myself. This is something which I have seen others do. I've worked with hundreds of people now, and everyone's got a result, but some people get incredible results and some other people don't. It quite literally will always boil down to this here. And the more that someone can embrace and embody this, better the results that they'll get within the process. And you can apply this process to you can apply this logic to everything in your life. I can guarantee that you'll get results because I've seen it, I've done it, and I've used it in other areas of my life. And you'll probably start to understand. So the goal of this video is to try and get you to understand that this is actually the most powerful thing which you can do. And that is that thoughts become things. We've all heard this, and some of you are probably going to listen to this and go, that's just a load of waffle. I'm going to click off the video. And that's absolutely fine, okay? Because my goal with this video is to not hit everyone. My goal is to hit one person. And if one person can understand this concept and actually embody it, it will change this person's life, and it will change this person's everything. It will change this person's health, it will change this person's body, it will change their mindset, it will change their entire life situation if they just embody this. And this is why I want to make it, because if one person understands this, I've won. We've all heard somebody that says, well, I'm an unlucky person. And we also know somebody that says, I'm a lucky person. Now, you might actually be one of these two people. You might be the person that says, I'm so unlucky. Or you might be the person that goes, I'm actually really lucky. Both of these people are right. The unlucky person is right and the lucky person is right, because the unlucky person will constantly reaffirm in their mind that they're unlucky, therefore attracting unlucky things into their life. Whereas the lucky person, he expects luck to find him. He expects himself to be lucky. And as a byproduct, he actually does become lucky. Now you're probably thinking, yeah, like that does happen. Or maybe when I say I'm having an unlucky day, something unlucky happens to me. And we've all been there. We've been like, oh, today's so unlucky. And just constantly it's like a barrage of just unlucky things unfolding in front of each other. But that's only because you're projecting it. Because when you're thinking I'm unlucky and it's an unlucky day, more unlucky things are going to happen to you. Okay, but how does that actually happen? We have thoughts, okay? And when you start thinking about these thoughts, what these actually start to form is something that we call your self-concept. So your self-concept is a combination of all these different things. It's self-image, it's your self-esteem, and your ideal self. So it's a combination of how you see yourself, the confidence that you have within yourself, and then also a little bit about how you actually want to be. And that forms this one thing that we call our self-concept. How you see yourself is how you see the world, and it's how you see everything around you. Okay, so your thoughts will directly lead to your self-concept. So going back to this example, if you're an unlucky person, you will think that I'm unlucky. Your self-concept will be that I'm an unlucky individual. And then you'll start taking the actions of somebody that is unlucky, and the result is going to be unlucky. We know that if you're a lucky person, right, you're going to think I'm lucky. You're going to embody the fact that you're a lucky person, right? Your self-esteem is going to understand that you're lucky. You're going to understand that my ideal self is lucky. The actions that you take will then lead to lucky results. Now that we're on the same page with this, okay, we understand that your thoughts lead to the way that you see yourself, which then lead to the actions that you take, which lead to the results that you get. One of the biggest misconceptions that we have is this statement right here. It's have, do, be. We believe, right, that when we have the body we want, we will do the actions necessary to be the person that has the body. That could not be further from the truth. What we actually need to start doing is doing it the other way. We need to be the person that does the things, that then has that thing that they want. And this makes a lot of sense because your thoughts are building your self-concept. And your self-concept is your be. Your be then leads to your do, which leads to your have. Some of you might be aware that I'm quite a religious guy. I've always been spiritual, but then I pinned this down to Christianity eventually. In the first opening chapters of the Bible, which is Genesis, this is where God created the world. You know, in 7 days, God did this. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Genesis 1:28. And God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of heaven, and over every living thing that moves on earth. This embodies be, do, have, okay? Because God said, be fruitful, do the actions of multiply, fill the earth and take from it, and you will eventually have dominion. Let's take this to the example of getting your dream body, okay? And we apply the previous logic. If we have the body, we'll do the things and we'll become the person that has the body. We know that that doesn't work, okay? We just know it doesn't work. However, if we apply this logic with the be, do, have approach, if you become the person inside that has the body that you want, right? Let's say you take on the self-concept of somebody which is in world-class shape. What you will start doing is you will start taking the actions that that person would take, and then eventually that will happen in your reality. Within your reality, you will have that physique, you will have the abs, you will have that hourglass physique, you will have the muscle, you will be the person that you visualized yourself becoming at the start. And as I've broken down earlier in this video, this all leads and starts with thoughts. So to change the results of what we have, we need to go back through this system and to this thing right here. This all boils down to thoughts. I know what you're thinking. Oh yeah, but how do I actually change my thoughts? Like, what do I think about, Josh? Like, how do I do this? My answer to you would be, what negative thoughts do you think about yourself? What are the negative actions that you do that lead to where you are right now? An example of this is a lot of people struggle with snacking. They say to themselves, I have a problem with snacking. I can't stop snacking. I can't stop doing this. Whenever I see sugar, I can't stop because I have a sweet tooth. That's your thought. Your thought has become part of your self-concept, okay? And now you truly believe in your head that you can't stop snacking. As a byproduct, you're going to snack, and then you're going to have the result of somebody that overly snacks. So it becomes very easy. You just need to, every time you think of that thought, I can't stop snacking, is change it, okay? And think to yourself, I don't snack. I'm a person that doesn't snack. I don't do it, okay? And you might have to say this to yourself 30 times a day. You might have to say this to yourself 100 times a day. You might have to remind yourself every time you think about a snack, no, I do not snack. I'm not the person that snacks. Because eventually what you will do is you will change that thought. You will change your self-concept. You will no longer take the action of snacking, and you will become somebody that looks like they don't snack. You will have that body. You will lose the fat. You will see your abs. You will see that shape that you have. Another really, really good example is people that have been like quite fat all their lives, okay? They have it embedded in their self-concept that they are a fat person. You know, especially if someone grew up as like a fat kid. They have this idea and self-concept and self-image that they are the fat kid and that they are fat and they'll always be fat. So when these people actually start losing weight, you know, and some people, they lose so much weight, they might lose 5, 10 stone. These people always revert back. Always. 9 times out of 10, if they still embody these thoughts, they will go back to being the fat person because they didn't change their thoughts. They didn't change their self-concept and they felt foreign in their own body. You know, so even when they lost the weight and they were, you know, they had that lovely shape, they kept on thinking to themselves, I'm fat, I have a horrible body. And then eventually what happened is that led to more actions which brought them back to where they started. Okay, so you have to go through this process right here. You have to go through the be, do, have, because sometimes you can fluke the system and you can do it and then you can have it, but eventually you will always go back to what you are. Like I said, this video to some is going to be wishy-washy, but for maybe one person that watches this is going to be the biggest breakthrough that they make. And if you embody everything that I've said here and you go through the actions and you study yourself and you think about your thoughts, I guarantee everything will start to change.